Okay, y'all, we back part two of the gastric sleeve scenario. So, like I was saying in the previous, at the very ending, baby, it's time to get the surgery, okay? So, August 30th at nighttime, I'm panicking because I know I have to be at the hospital August 31st. And I'm telling my family, like, I don't want to go through this no more. I don't want to go through this no more, baby. I'm starving. Stuff is starting to get real. I'm like, baby, I don't know if I could do this, okay? For this gastric sleeve. I don't think I could pull this off. You know, all type of stuff running through my mind. What if I die? Basically, my sister got me. Shouts out to her. Okay, my sister boo. They was like, no, you're gonna get the surgery. You're big as hell. What you mean? Baby, I know I was big, but you know, it really hit different when like your family or whatever tell you. So they was like, girl, yeah, no, you need to go get this surgery, baby. This for your health, this for you to live, this for you to have longevity, this for you to be able to interact and go out and do the things that you need to do. You're gonna have more energy. I mean, they pumping me up, they pumping me up. So I end up going on Facebook that night and I saw that it was a gastric sleeve slash bypass um uh post or whatever, or a team or whatever the case may be, right? And not necessarily team, I can't actually think of the actual words, but they had a group. It was a group. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on here, whatever. I'm just gonna put it out there, baby. Because when you at your lowest and you're most vulnerable, you don't care what you say or who you say it to. Because baby, you just need help. Okay, you need motivation. So I went on a little group chat. I joined. They invited me instantly. And I saw so many people just like, oh, I got gastric sleeve, I got gastric pop bags. It changed my life. And I'm seeing, you know, the testimonials and this and that. So I posted, I had put a picture up and I was like, this amount of weight, blah, blah, blah. Baby, it was huge. I'm going to tell y'all the pounds towards the end. Maybe the next video, part 3. I'm like, baby, they like, oh, my life is so much better. I feel so much better. And mind you, baby, I was breathing hard. I'm talking about, I'm watching videos. I'm not even know I'm breathing all hard. Just constantly eating, spending all my money on food. It had got ridiculous. Okay, I was pretty much ashamed of myself, so I knew that I needed to make a change. So the next morning I had to go for surgery. I had to be to surgery at 6. My sister Giami came to my house at 4 in the morning. She laid on her horn, turned her bright lights out all in my house or whatever, and she came banging on my door, doom 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 doom. Get up, you finna go get this surgery, you finna change your life, baby, you finna look good, you finna feel good, and I do get into it. But anyway, so I ended up going to the hospital. I got checked in. The people were actually really lovely. I remember sitting in the bed. They was taking all my information, checking everything. They asked me to, urinate, so on and so forth. The minor things that people have to do inside of the hospital, whatever. So they asked me all my history, making sure that everything checks up. And I remember they was taking me off to go into the anesthesiologist or whatever to, they was about to basically put me down so that I can get this surgery. And I remember going inside of the surgery room and I sat up and I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. Because you get really scared. Like, it's a surgery. Like, they're going to cut a portion of your stomach out. This is a very serious surgery. People are taking it lightly. It's not easy getting gastric sleeve. Okay. So I remember the anesthesiologist, he was good at what he did. I remember he was just rubbing my arm. He was like, Miss Jackson, this is going to change your life. You're going to feel better. You're going to get this surgery. Don't be scared. We do this all the time. Trust me. You're going to feel so much better. And by the time I looked up, baby, boop, I hadn't had the surgery. Okay? Let's get into it. It wasn't painful. Honestly, it was painful, but it wasn't extreme pain. Like, I know I had underwent a surgery. I remember going inside of the recovery room. My sister was there because my sister Gammy was with me. And I was inside of the surgery room and they had created 3 incisions in my stomach. One of the incisions hurt it a lot more than the other 2 because that was the incision that they actually snatched a portion of the stomach that they actually cut out. I was on a lot of drugs, but because pain, whatever. I remember my doctor telling me, you gotta walk, you gotta walk, you gotta walk. I remember them saying, like, at that point I was only able to drink water. I wasn't able to eat nothing initially. I was just able to drink water, and then they brought me Crystal Light, of course, which doesn't have sugar content, really. Sugar, Crystal Light. Baby, my life was about to change drastically. I didn't even know, because those first couple of months of gastric sleeve, okay, not for the week. I remember, I'll say, like, the following day I was ready to walk, because initially the first day I was just like out of it. The next morning I began to walk. It's a slow process. You're not gonna jump up and start sprinting. No. Okay. And also gastric sleeve, don't think that you're just gonna get, it's not like you getting a BBL or something like that. It's not, oh, you get the surgery and the next day it's just like boom, you skinny. No, that's not how it goes. Okay. So, oh, and excuse them, I think they cutting grass all of a sudden while in the middle of my video, but whatever. I'm gonna get through this because my girlies need to hear this for my plus size girlies. Okay. So, I was walking really slow, but I was making it my business because they was like, after you had the surgery, you're going to be full of gas because they pump your stomach up so that they can actually remove and be able to see inside and actually cut the portion they need to and then take it out. So I was very gassy. Now, gas does hurt. Okay, because you have to walk that gas out. You have to constantly walk. You're gonna have gas for a while. Okay, so I was walking and walking and walking. And I remember my surgeon being like, "Okay, the nurses were saying that you've been doing good. You've been walking, so we're gonna get you up out of here." You know what I'm saying? The very first week, liquids only. Liquids only. And for my girlies that love to eat liquids, baby, it was like broth. I remember it was like water. It was like you can have Crystal Light. Also, when you get gastric sleeve, no sugar. No sugar. They're going to tell you that whatever it is that you're ingesting has to have 2% sugar or not. Baby, that's when I realized America obese as hell. Okay? When I tell you nothing really contains only 2% sugar, everything is sugar down. Okay? It's like nothing. It's like so hard. I was drinking like Gatorade zero, Crystal Light with no sugar. I was on water. I was able to eat broth, but it basically had to contain 2% sugar or less. It's very hard. It's not. And for you to be an emotional eater and always eating to go to not eating, trust me, it's very stressful. So for y'all sitting up here judging and it's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're a plus size girl. Even if you're a skinny girl, we like to eat. It's America. We love to eat. Wherever you at, we love to eat. Okay. The very first week, I remember being mentally distressed because I was like, damn, the people that I thought it was going to be there for me initially was not. That's why I say you have to have a support system because I pretty much went through it alone. I had like friends like reach out, like my homegirl, Ebony, she brought me a blender because she was like, girl, you're going to be drinking these smoothies. You got to get fine. You know what I'm saying? My mom was definitely there a lot. But mentally, it's going to be a battle. You're going to be in between because you're going to want to eat. Initially, the very first week, I didn't want to eat. But remember, I'm an emotional eater. So I'm going through the trenches and I can't eat. Okay? But if people want to eat, don't let your family and friends don't eat around people who trying to who got this gastric sleeve. If you hungry, take your ass outside to eat or go home and eat. Come there with some water. Okay? I remember having to walk constantly. My bed, I had to get something to prop myself up because the incisions do hurt. I think I was on Percocets or whatever the case may be, some form of a pain pill that was strenuous because it does kick in at some point. But I did have to walk a lot, so it is that very first week. I'll say about the second and third week, I still was on liquids, but then I went back to my doctor and they were saying that I could eat like fish and chicken and things like that. Baby, I love chicken. I love chicken. I don't know about nobody else, but I love chicken. Okay? When I tell you they gave me a list of to-dos and to-don'ts, baby, when I tell you it was even certain fruits that I could not eat because it contained a lot of sugar. So I was on melons. I was able to eat watermelon. I was able to eat honeydew melon. I was able to eat strawberries and blueberries. But kiwis, bananas, all that starchy stuff, I was not able to eat it. So it's only a few amounts of fruit that you can even eat. I was able to eat steamed vegetables. But the things that I loved, I'm a rice girl. Rice, fries, chips. Nope. And I'm a chip girl. I love chips down. Okay? Okay, so that was also hard for me. So it's a very strenuous process, and then I had to walk a lot. Now, mind you, going from a girl who was walking 0% of the time, lounging around in her bed or sitting on the couch when I went to work, I sat at a desk, to actually having to walk 30 minutes a day. Okay, and once again, you're still your size. You're working it down. I'll say about the third week, I started seeing like I was dropping pounds. I'm like, I lost 15 pounds in a week. What? Stay tuned for part 3.